and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 203, for Tuesday, the 16th of April, 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me today is...
Back on the podcast again, Nick Fights.
And Sensei Switch.
Excellent. Graham will be joining us at some point soon. He's just on his way back from somewhere, which is
making
fine.
sure OJ's actually dead.
Yes.
Oh, the memes this week. Oh, they've been bad.
I've not really seen... it's weird, man. I mean, I used to be on the social media a lot, but I just never really go on it these days, so a lot of it I don't see anymore. I don't know if that's a good or
Probably
a bad
for
thing.
the best.
Yeah,
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to follow shitloads of people for, like, gaming. In fact, most of my Twitter is gaming.
Yeah.
But then it just... a majority of it is just, like, political screeching nowadays. And it's like...
I always find it best just not to reply to anything online. It's just, you know... I was like, oh, I don't agree with you, so I just won't reply because I just can't be bothered to have an argument. You know, I already know.
Plus, everyone's allowed their own opinions, whether they're stupid in your eyes or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, plus a lot of them are saying stuff deliberately wrong or controversial just to cause like uproar and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm not biting on that hook, mate. That's just not happening.
Yeah.
But, I don't.
That's it. Plus, most of the people you're arguing with on places like that are like probably 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, living in the mum's basement or whatever and just trolling.
Like I say, it's not worth talking about if the gloves don't fit.
Yeah. Okay, so discussion point I want to start with for this week's show is I made a really big deal last week of using a VPN and buying these foreign codes to do the Game Pass.
Yeah, you said you were going to text me how to do it.
Yeah, the 3-year stacking. Did I? Oh, God, mate.
Yeah.
The weeks just fly by. Anyway, there was literally 2 days after the podcast aired, there was a little bit of news that come out saying that Microsoft have now stopped you being able to stack your codes for more than a year. In all the so
did you get in there before the cut off?
Because I did it on the Sunday as we were recording. That's why I was talking about it. And then I think it was on the Wednesday or Thursday that an article come out saying that Microsoft now stopped the stacking of all the foreign codes.
I know they've been trying to stop the VPNs and foreign codes working anyway, because even though you can get it to work, I think they still know.
Yeah.
Like if you're home console or if you're in the UK and you're getting stuff from Brazil and stuff or Argentina, they know, but they're like, well, they've got their money, we've got our money or our cut or a cut. Screw it, but they, you know.
Yeah, so what I've been reading... So obviously the way I explained it last week was I bought 3 years worth of Game Pass Core and then converted that to 2 years of Ultimate. And it worked out at just over £100 for 2 years, which is pretty good. Now I'm just looking on the Eurogamer article. You can only buy 13 months, so a year and a month. It won't let you stack any more than that. So count myself quite lucky. I literally just got in a few days before this has happened. So you can still buy your foreign codes, but you can only do it for a year at a time now. So you can still do it cheaper, but not super duper cheap like we used to. And
did they actually explain or give a reason of why they're doing it officially? Is it just... did they just statement say, this is what we're doing, but... do you know what I mean?
It just says here that Microsoft is limiting the stacking to deter players from subscribing for a cheaper rate. So that's all. But you'll still be able to say buy a year's Brazil code anyway. So you can still do it cheaper.
You try and convert that, you're not really saving hardly anything. It doesn't, probably won't seem worth the hassle, does it?
Yeah, no, because see at the moment in the UK it's $12.99 a month. However, if you buy the way I did it, it works out. Obviously, paying it all in one go, it works out like £4.20 a month. So it's quite a significant saving. So
they haven't tried to spin this as this is to stop like little Johnny buying 10 years worth of stuff on his mum and dad's credit card. They've literally said it's to stop you buying the VPN codes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. However, so I was thinking about this. Even if I couldn't do the stacking, I would probably still pay for Game Pass the monthly anyway. Because I did a little comparison earlier on in the week. And EA have just put their prices up for EA Play Pro. So Game Pass is $12.99 a month, yeah. PlayStation Plus is £13.49 a month, and you don't get half as many games. EA Play Pro is $16.99 a month, and that's literally just EA games.
It's fucking hell.
I know. And Ubisoft Plus is £15 a month. Again, just Ubisoft games, and we'll be talking about Ubisoft in a minute as well. So that's obviously more expensive than Game Pass. So actually, if you weren't doing the dodgy deal, Game Pass is still the best value for money out of all those subscription services, which is pretty good, because if you think about it, with Game Pass, you get the EA Play, just the core one anyway. So on top of that, so it's not bad really. But I just thought I thought I'd just put out a bit of a PSA at the beginning of this week's episode, because obviously I made a huge deal out of the stacking last week, and I don't want people to try and do it now and then not work. Yeah. So,
and if they do, they can contact you on Webby360G and give you shit.
Yeah, but I'm not giving them any money because I'm skint. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So the other big news for PC gamers, I'm not sure this is going to happen. This is going to happen to console as well, surely. And this is probably a big win for the likes of yourself and Darren, Nick, and Stunty. For people that like to buy their physical games, Ubisoft, The Crew, the original Crew, the servers went offline earlier on this year. It was about a month ago, the online servers. But usually when the servers go offline, you can still install the game and play something of it. And especially on the PC, the modding community comes out and people make their own servers and stuff like that. Well, unlucky for those of us, and this is myself included, who purchased the original game on Ubisoft on the PC, it's been delisted, taken off your account, and you can no longer install it. And I checked this about 10 minutes before the podcast started just to check the facts, and yeah, I can see it in my app, but it's grayed out, and the install button is missing. So video game preservation is not going well in this digital age, which does upset me.
And this is just like the first few stones to fall, isn't it?
Yeah, it
like,
is.
There's going to be huge. like, just wait until Genshin Impact or something goes offline and everyone's like, oh no, all that I'll put in.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's why I never touched it from the start, because you were playing a gambling sim that was always online, and eventually those servers are going to go, and you're going to lose everything. Absolutely everything. Plus, obviously, we now know that certain companies can actually go into your account and deactivate digital licenses for things you own.
Yep.
So, say you go and buy a game that you really enjoy, all of a sudden, a couple of years down the line, one of the governments or something takes offence to something in the game and decides to ban it, they can just remove it from everyone's account.
Yeah. It's crazy. You pay for something, and traditionally, with video games or, you know, even music and movies, that the entertainment sector, you buy it and it's yours and you can use it forever. But in this digital age, I think people are starting to realise, and this myself included, that it's not like that anymore.
I mean, movies have already been removed off of
PlayStation.
Certain things, wasn't it? PlayStation, lost one of their streaming or movie things, and they stripped all of the digital purchases off people.
Yeah,
it's pretty much anything on Paramount, because that's obviously they got the Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
which they want you to buy, which is kind of doing my head in, because a lot of the stuff that was on Sky, you know, like basically anything that was HBO, who I think, I want to say Paramount own HBO, or they went in with them. So yeah, that's all gone. But it's just, you know, they want you to pay extra for Paramount Plus to watch the things that you were watching through Sky like normally.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
well, this is why, right? And I'm not advocating for piracy, right? I would never do that on the. I'm not gonna do that on a podcast, right?
And
But what I'm gonna say, is what, you know, when like piracy was really popular before the streaming services, right? And then Netflix came in and it made it cheap enough and easy enough for you to watch content. And you didn't mind paying, I don't know, £6-7 a month or whatever. It made it easy.
It's convenient, we'll pay for it, mate.
And then now
and
it's
fair price, obviously.
Yes, 100%, Nick. But now it's got to a point where we're oversaturated with streaming services, and they're all shoveling adverts in now as well. So it's becoming just like having a cable TV channel again, or service again. And you've seen that piracy has trended massively upwards again because of this. And it just makes me think, like, what the fuck? Like, I read something really interesting this week, because I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to this sort of stuff. So I didn't know this, right? So in America, I'm not sure about the UK, so obviously you had your terrestrial channels, but when cable first came in America, it came in as a subscription service as you know it today, but one of its selling points was it had no adverts, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know this either.
Yeah, I knew that.
Now, like, when you're watching a cable TV show in America, say it's a 30-minute show or 20-minute show or whatever, then you got 10 minutes of ads, and the ad, or probably even longer, because the ad, like, it's insane, and it's just fucking nuts how it is now compared to what it was. It's like when your streaming services first started, you had no adverts, and now you only don't get the ads if you pay for, like, for Netflix, it's like, what, £19 a month or £18 a month? And then the cheap version, which I have, is like a £5 a month, but you get the ads. And you're just seeing that saturation in the market now. Now, they're even talking about...
thing, I will say...
Yeah, go on.
How many people actually sit and watch the ads? Because if I'm watching like YouTube, which is about the only streaming thing I actually use, and ads come on, I'm straight to the loo, or I'm down making a coffee or something, because I couldn't give a fuck what the ads are on about.
Yeah, I know.
They're not even tailored to what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's coming, Switch, which I know has been in America for ages, is they're going to put ads actually on the things we're working. That's going to like overlay and pop up in, which they've had in America for a while. And yeah, so you're going to be watching stuff and it's going to mute what you're watching, but keep playing it and play an advert like over most of it. Like picture type thing.
Well, have you seen this new thing? So the Roku TVs in America, so they're the cheaper brands. They're implementing a technology now where it knows when you've paused a video game and it will start playing adverts when you've paused your game.
Xbox will be well in on that, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, big time.
Your dashboard is basically a big fucking billboard for them.
Oh no, mate, it is crazy. So it is shitty. I can't remember how we got onto this conversation. We're talking about The Crew, weren't we? So
yeah.
Subscription services and advertisements.
Yeah. So I was talking about the prices. We've already talked about The Crew, haven't we? So we're talking about the prices of.
Well, we were talking about that, and then we were talking about The Crew.
Oh, yeah. So The Crew. Anyway, I was going to say it's pissing me off because Ubisoft, wasn't it like about a month ago where they come out and said, "Well, you won't own your games and be happy," blah blah blah. And I think I've said this, yeah.
All gamers better get used to not owning their games.
Yeah, and I think I've said this a few times now on the podcast that it makes me really sad as a huge video game fan, but also someone who has openly said on this podcast in the past, not in recent memory, but a good few years back, that Ubisoft were my favourite publisher and developer because they made my favourite games.
Yeah, made a lot of good stuff back in the day.
Yeah. And what has happened? It is just crazy.
They're going to be in some funny old games because obviously Skull and Bones pretty much sank in the dock.
Yeah.
Like we all pretty much expected. I don't know how well this new Star Wars game's going to do. I mean, I'm not interested. I couldn't care less about Star Wars as a franchise in itself, let alone like an open world Star Wars game. Plus, it's got a lot of modernish, ropey shite to it as well. And then after that, you've got the Assassin's Creed coming out later in the year, rumoured, Assassin's Creed Red.
Oh.
And if some of the rumours about that are to be expected, then fucking that's going to be floundering about as well.
Well, I've not even played the last AC yet.
Oh, Mirage, no, I didn't bother with that anyway. It was a glorified DLC, wasn't it, for Valhalla that was scrapped and just turned into an actual game. I mean, it's happened with certain games in the past, but...
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't know. It just makes me sad, mate. And, when I get to my games played, I've actually gone back and played a couple of old Ubisoft titles this past week, and I'm just like, they're great, and I'm just like, what is going on with them at the minute?
It makes you wonder what, because this is, they have had games removed from Steam and PlayStation and Xbox before, but they've tended to be kind of shitty ones no one really care about. But what happens when we get something big removed? Well, how are people going to react?
Yeah, but usually what they do, Nick, is they remove it from the store so you can't buy it.
Yeah, I know, but you can still download it.
Yeah, so you on the
and if you've got a physical copy, you can still play it.
Yeah, but I know on the Xbox 360 they make it really, really difficult. So the way you do it on the 360 is you go to your profile on the right hand side, and then you click on the purchases or previous downloads. You're saying you have to scroll through a list.
And to be honest, loads of us that have been on, like, obviously using Xbox Live since like the 360 era, or like even later in it, your list's going to be mental. It's going to take you so long to scroll down through that.
100%, yeah. And I was because I'm in an Xbox 360 group on Reddit. And they were talking about this exact thing this past week. because there's been quite a few games delisted now, and because it's quite the 360 by all accounts from what I'm reading, like a lot of people still use the actual console itself, and I asked that, and I said, look, why are you still using it when you can play your older titles on a one or a series system? And the response I get is not all of the games are backwards compat. There's actually a lot.
Same with PS4 and stuff like.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of them are the old arcade games that obviously they don't have the license to bring over. So I'm thinking about digging mine out the loft, because I've been doing a loft clear out this week, and I've got one of the Halo 4 limited edition consoles.
Right, yeah. Still connected right now.
Yeah. So I might actually dig it out and plug it back in at some point soon, just to
thing is, though,
for that nostalgia.
With people with it, like when they delisted the crew and they said you couldn't do it, I mean, I know the same as you do. They'll say, oh, well, you agreed to the terms and conditions earlier, which you cannot agree. You can't refuse to agree with them and continue using anything, can you?
Yeah.
No. If you turn down any of the terms and conditions you get given for a game, it doesn't allow you to start it until you agree to them.
So it's not like you can do anything. But they could say, well, I'll tell you what, we've delisted the crew. We're not letting anyone play it. I know that sucks, but actually, you know, in the last 12 months, only 20 people have actually played it. And you go, oh, okay, sucks for them. So I'll tell you what we're doing. Everyone who's actually got the crew 1, we're going to give you the crew 2 and do an update for that and support that for another couple of years for free. You know, and, you know, we're just going to add it to your library for nothing, or send you a code to your email address. They could do that and it wouldn't affect them at all, but they just don't care, do they?
No, they don't give a shit.
It's basically like what Blizzard did with Overwatch. You can't obviously play the original Overwatch anymore, but you can, in theory, you can still play Overwatch. It's just Overwatch 2, which is now free to play anyway.
Yeah.
There's just going to be maybe a few slight issues with skins and things that you possibly may have unlocked or gone for in that, but when you realised Overwatch was an always online game, then you kind of knew you'd be running into that issue anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just aware, probably the same as you are, you guys. Everything I've got digital on all the consoles, I know I'm just renting it. Which is why, like I said, I refuse to pay full price for any game pretty much, because I know it's going to get taken away from me. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know the ones I've got that I've bought on disc, the full game's not actually on there. And when that happens and they take it off me, like people who've got a disc version of the Crew 2, I bet that needs an update to actually work as well. So even if you've got, you know, the disc, I bet if you plug it in, that won't work either, will it?
Well, no, yeah, because I think it runs again through an online infrastructure, so you're going to need the latest patches and updates.
It's like I said, it's a price thing, and the thing is like, oh well, I knew that was going to happen, and I only paid £3 for it, so whatever. I'm happy knowing it's renting, but it's just there's people out there like a few years younger than us. I got some lads at work in their like mid and late 20s who don't really know what it was like before, and they're like, I think I said something about it before, they're like, oh well, games have to have microtransactions because how else do they make their money, and things like that.
Making a good game.
I know, but because that's the norm for them and that's what's always happened, they don't care, and that's who they're going towards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we are like basically phasing out, regardless of how you feel about it. Yeah. The other people, which is why you get this classic phrase of like casuals ruin everything, where basically you could have a giant fan base, loads of more like random like new fans come in. There's more of them than the old fans. The new fans want shit differently, and they don't give a crap. So it's like, right, we'll fuck off the old fans. Then we've still got this lot. Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if microtransactions didn't make these companies money, they would have been in the ground and dealt with years ago, but people buy them, so...
Well, yeah, it was the long
regardless how we feel about them.
They knew in the long run, that's all right, all the people who are furious about horse armour and stuff, they know eventually that we're just going to be, like I said, that's why GTA 5 just is always in the top 5 of games being sold and stuff, because youngsters are growing up to that age all the time and they want to buy it. So, you know, that don't really matter to them, what we think, because we're still gamers and we're still going to, like, eventually in like 10 years' time, when all games are through the cloud and you can't buy a disc or even own it, you know, own a console, you just buy a controller, we'll probably still be playing them, won't we?
Not the new ones, no.
No, but I'm just saying, we'll still play that, but we're not going to spend anywhere near as much on these services as what we did, like, peak 360. I mean, be honest, Webby, and you, Switch, are you buying anywhere near as many games as you were, like, peak 360 era?
No.
I'm buying about a quarter of the amount.
Yeah, I'm probably buying less than that as well. Like, you know,
I don't know if some of that's to do with different priorities now as well, or just the fact that they're not making as many good games. But I think also some of that is
interest me.
Yeah, but I think some of that for me is I've got Gamepass and PS Plus as well, you know, and that fills quite a big void. But I think I find I have less time to really sink into games now as well. So
probably less money as well.
I think there's quite a lot of factors there, you know. But no, the quality is definitely not as good as it was.
Well, it's not just it's quality on launch, the main thing.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I'll say this every time I play Battlefield 2042, because I was playing some of that this past week with a few of the lads, and you know, I was saying in the chat, I was just said to them, you know, if the game had launched as it was when we were playing it this week, people would be, you know, would be more popular, because the problem is it launched shit. So even though it's on Game Pass, people aren't interested in even fucking downloading it for free because it launched so poorly. You know, it's always tarred.
Is it like you think of, like, obviously back to Street Fighter 5 as well? That had a horrendous launch. It was basically like a bare bones rushed out for esports, really bare roster, no single player content basically for the game whatsoever, outside of like one-on-one versus matches.
Was 6 much
against
better?
the computer. 6 is an absolutely complete different beast. It's got 3 game modes. So you've got like a full single player mode where you create a character, run around an open city, beating the shit out of people, bumping into obviously all the different actual Street Fighter characters and basically having them become your trainer and learning moves off them, etc. You've got obviously the online section of the game, which is done like a big battle hub area, which is very much like the old Arxes games. And then you've got the classic sort of like arcade mode, standard versus modes, and that in the fighting ground. So they literally went balls out with it. Like, I'd say for a Street Fighter game, it launched like with a hell of a lot of content. In comparison,
it couldn't really launch with any less content than 5, could it?
No.
I mean, like I said, I only just bought 5, like the arcade whatever deluxe super
Champion edition.
Yeah, that's the one. I bought that last year for like £8, and I've got everything. And if people would have bought that individually every year with all the season passes, you're probably looking close to what? £200?
That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it would have been a hell of a lot. Yeah.
And like I said, does it bother me that much that, like, I say people are playing 6? I only know like 2 people on my friends list on PlayStation that have ever played 6 on PlayStation.
I bought 6 when it came out, and I'm just looking on my Steam time. I've played it for 2.5 hours. That is fucking shocking, man.
Let me just check to see how much I've put into it, because I can just quickly have a look on.
Like I said,
hours, probably
99. Yeah, 99 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you're not being funny though. You're the exception, and you love your Street Fighter and a lot of those games, so that's sort of worth it for you. But like I said, for me, it doesn't bother me if I play it 2-3 years later, because I fancy like my fighting games for a couple of weeks, and then like at the moment, I'm not playing my fighting games. I'm into playing the car games. It just feels that quick play for an hour whilst I'm waiting for something or waiting to go somewhere and do something, that I don't have to put too much thought in. Or, if you play Final Fantasy or an RPG, you never know if you get stuck in like a big boss fight that you can't save. I know you can always do that quick resume on PlayStation and Xbox, but that's always been a bit patchy for me sometimes. Like,
I hate it.
Because depending on how long you leave it, it can sometimes not work at all. I mean, I've had it before where I've left the game to go to the dashboard to look at something, and I've come back to the game, and it's just sort of flashed, and it's just reloaded the game from the start, and I've lost like an hour.
I wish there was an option to turn that quick resume off, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, well, you can go into a menu and like take games out of the quick resume menu, but there doesn't really seem to be any way to just turn off the function completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I turned off the like the quick startup thing, so every time I start up my Xbox, it takes a few seconds longer, and I see like the Xbox logo startup thing, because it uses like something like 80% less power for this. And I thought, oh, well, it won't download this, it won't do that. It seems to still be doing it as well. I'm playing a game and then I'm coming back later and it's there. But like I said, but sometimes I come into the dashboard and go back into it and it doesn't work. So, but I don't
know. I mean, because people say with the quick resume, only fucks up your multiplayer or always online games. No. I've had issues with single player games as well, like Alan Wake, Worms that me and my boy are playing, Trials, and a few other games as well.
Do you know what? It's still there to this day. Battlefield 4 on Xbox One. If you use that quick resume and don't close your game, your campaign every time, and close the game properly afterwards, it freezes you and restarts your campaign from the beginning.
What?
And that's a game from 2013. They never fixed it.
Fuck's sake, that's for donk, man.
Well, quick resume didn't really exist back then, I guess. So
it was the first time. It was the first thing. It was the first Xbox One games that had it.
I thought the quick resume stuff only came in around the One X, etc.
No, that was the feature of Xbox One.
Yeah, it was on the one. Yeah.
Obviously, X started all the 4K 30, not 60 thing.
Yeah, I've gone to a weird place with gaming where, like, obviously when I built my PC many moons ago, it feels like now, I was really focused on, I've got to get at least 60 FPS or 120, blah, 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 and I'd have the counter in the corner. And I've hit a point now, and I was saying to my mate Dave, because he rang me last week and he was talking about PC upgrades. And I said, man, I got to a point where I got so fixated on it that I wasn't enjoying my games because I was just looking at this stupid number in the corner of the screen. So
it's nice to know if the game's well optimized, because let's be real, there's a lot of games that are designed for consoles that just run like shit on the PC.
Yeah, but so I said to him, look, what I do now is I put the FPS counter and all that on when I first install the game, just to get it so I can tweak my settings. And then
that makes sense.
And then I just turn the counter off. It's off. So I can just play the game and enjoy without looking at the
always thought that was weird, Webby. You're not the only one that does that, has that in the corner.
Yeah.
And telling you your frames. The thing is, I'd understand if you buy a new computer or a new graphics card, or you've upgraded something, to use it for a couple of weeks, because in your head, when I was playing this last time, I it would only go up to about 60 frames per second, and now I'm getting 120. So
yeah,
it's justifying the money you've spent, and it's just reassuring you. I get that, but to have that open constantly, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, and as I say, I just want to enjoy my games now, you know.
To be honest, I think they need to be a bit more like that with games for consoles now, where you've got like all these different selections for the games, where it's like, oh, you've got balance mode, you've got performance mode, and you've got quality mode. And that's all it'll tell you. It doesn't actually tell you what each of those modes actually is and what the actual output and the functionality is. It's just generally just a word. And you have to look it up online or watch videos of people actually breaking it down for what each one actually means and what you're going to be getting pixel count-wise and frame rate-wise.
I think they did initially with like PS4 Pro and One X when they first come out. But when they realised, hang on, I'm only getting 60 at 1080p or 4K at 30. I should be getting more than this. So I think, like I said, they've just changed the wording to not include that. Plus, in theory, if they put that you're getting 60 frames per second, and let's just say it drops down to mid-50s at some point, you know someone in America's going to try and fucking sue them.
Possibly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like that as well. You've got to think with stuff. That's the sort of thing that would happen, but...
Don't dry your pets in the microwave.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? There was something else. Okay, yeah, so before we get into games played, quite intrigued. I don't think Graham's going to turn up, by the way. It's 8:15 now. Have you guys been watching the Fallout TV show?
No. I want to watch it, but I'm waiting for the missus to watch it. So.
Okay.
I don't want that. You watched it without me.
Graham's just message. Yeah, hang on. Graham's just message saying he's roads closed. So don't worry, come on next week though.
Yeah.
Well, they shut his road while he was out. Sorry, mate, we've closed off your road while you were gone.
Okay, so Graham's not coming on by looks of things. I'm going to premise this by saying I'm not going to do any spoilers. Not really, though. There's anything I can spoil, to be honest. I think this is the best TV show from a game I've ever seen. It is so good. Did you watch
Cyberpunk Edge Runners? Although technically that's not a TV show, is it?
So, and I'm telling you, there's a few reasons why it's so good. Now, it stays really true to the games with the music, the artwork, the vaults, like even all the little things like the Pit Boys look true. All the like character types, shall we say, like you've got the Brotherhood of Steel in there, you've got the ghouls, you've got like the bobblehead guy, what's his name, the Pip Boy.
Pip, I think he's just called Vault Boy, isn't he?
Yeah, Vault Boy. That, it's all, everything looks like it's taken exactly from the game, or the games are. And also what I like about it is it's no story from any game. And I like that because the Fallout universe is so varied, right? Because you've got all these vaults. Yeah. And when you play the game, it's like your story. So what they've done is they've taken a vault, characters, not just characters from a vault, but characters just from the wasteland, etc. And they've just made a really good story from it. Yeah. And it's just really well done. Like you can tell they've poured a lot of money into it because it doesn't look cheap by any means. The production values are really, really good. And I mean, I just like that they've added specific things. So there's actually quite a big Brotherhood of Steel storyline in there, which I really like because obviously they're in the game, right? And they take some stories from a vault, but not just one vault, a few vaults, and they just make it just really cool. And it's just really, obviously I don't want to spoil the story for people, right? But it goes through like the life of the people in the vault, and it shows you the life of people in the wasteland, like the differences. It goes through a little bit of the history of when the bombs dropped and how they chose people to go in the vaults. It's just really interesting. I really like it, and now obviously we've had a few TV shows from games in recent years. You've had the Last of Us TV show, you've had the Halo one as well, that Cyberpunk one that Darren mentioned. But the difference is the Last of Us one, yes, it had good production values, but it was the exact same story pretty much of the original game. And Halo is its own story.
No one knows what it is, yeah.
But it's very cheesy. It's, you know, you see the Chief's face and all that bullshit. Whereas this, I just think it's really good. It's just really well done, and it fits into the narrative fits really well into a TV, well, just into video. So it, I think that it would also make a good movie as well as a TV show, right? So it's just, again, I'm really struggling to talk about it without spoiling it, but trust me when I say great production values, great story, great characters. It's got a lot of famous actors and actresses in it as well. So they've really pushed the bar on what they've spent.
Well, you say famous, it's got those actors, like those, I wouldn't say it's got like the super celebrities, but it's like that level down where you're like, I know that guy from loads, but I don't know his name. Like that type of celebrity in it.
Yeah, but I'm really crap at remembering names anyway. So my missus was like, "Oh, he's in it. Oh, he's in it. Oh, she's in it." I was like, "All right, okay." So yeah, I think they've done a really good job with it, and I was a little bit on the fence because I was thinking, "Oh, it's another TV show from a game. What's probably going to be average?" But it is fucking awesome. So if you've got Amazon Prime, definitely check this out. It is so good. So good. Especially if you're a fan of the franchise. It's fucking amazing.
Do you get adverts in it as well? Because I know they started that, didn't they?
I mean, I don't pay for the uprated Prime Video, and I've not had one advert. So
maybe they're not trying to piss people off who've subscribed just.
Well, I know Peebs has had adverts on Prime, but I haven't seen any yet.
Well, it's normally a couple of adverts before the start of a film.
Right.
Then you watch the whole film and it stops. It's just, if they were stopping the film to put adverts on, that would really annoy me.
Yeah, of course.
But
so yeah, man, it's really good, and it's got me back into playing. I started a new game of Fallout New Vegas on my Steam Deck.
You might as well have held off, because I've heard there's a update for it coming out, isn't there?
No, that's for Fallout 4. That's
Fallout update 4. For Fallout 4.
I thought that's what you was. I thought that's what he was on about, Fallout 4.
No, New Vegas. I started New Vegas again. On the Steam Deck, because obviously it's an older title, so it runs really well on the deck. And to be fair, I rinsed Fallout 3. I got all the Chivos on that one, even with even all the DLC. But I recall quite vividly when I played New Vegas on the 360 back in the day. I kind of rushed through it because there was loads of other games to play at the time. So I picked up on Steam. I know. So I picked up on Steam. I'm just taking my time with it now and just enjoying playing it while sitting on the sofa. And then I know Fallout 4 is getting an update towards the end of the month on console. I think on PC as well, actually.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, graphical update.
What's actually going to get updated? Because
it's getting graphical update on console and 60 FPS, right?
Yeah.
Well, the game already ran at like 4K and stuff on the original one and the PS4 Pro and stuff.
No, it's older than you think.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, is this just going to be like a Skyrim Special Edition kind of thing where it sort of like just runs better?
No, it's going to look. They're doing a graphical update as well.
Yeah. Plus, I think they're giving away some stuff. I mean, I bought it like whatever digital edition for like £4 ages ago. So I've got all the DLC. Because to be honest, when Fallout 4 came out, it was okay, but a lot of people were like thinking it was just like Fallout 3 again. But with
if it was just like Fallout 3, I'd have been well happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love 3, but 4 had all that building bollocks that I didn't want to do.
I don't know a single person who likes that. Not a single person I've spoken to about it likes any of that aspect of the game.
I think that's what it was. They had stuff that was pretty much the same as. I think they even had a lot of the same story as 3. And I think the ending of 4 was like, "Are you going to blow up this city? Yes or no? Yes." And it's like, okay, end of the game. You're like, oh, brilliant.
But what I will say,
the original ending for 3 wasn't much better, was it?
Oh no, but the ending for 3 was the middle for this. No, hang on.
Yeah, in 3, in 3 it was Megaton, wasn't it? And you
that was the middle part of the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I was on about the end where you find your old man.
Oh, that's right.
And then the game just ends, and you're like, oh.
But what I wanted to say was, I've put about 3 or 4 hours into New Vegas, and obviously it looks dated now, but it was quite interesting just having a fresh eyes on the game after watching the TV show, because it made me realise just how much they've really matched the TV show to the game, like the way they look at the Pit-Boy, the way, everything about it, just the music is just spot on.
I imagine they used 4 and like obviously 76 as their sort of like drawing lines for the TV series.
Yeah. I mean, I've not really played 76 because when I initially played it, I thought it was shit, but apparently they've actually improved it. But I don't know if I really want to.
I just didn't touch it because I know VATS doesn't work properly the way it's supposed to. So
I was
just like, that was because obviously it's an always online game, isn't it? So it can't pause for you to select body parts and go into slow-mo when you kill things and stuff. It's just like a real-time like part selection.
Oh,
right. So it's like, that's like the best part of Fallout is VATS.
Yeah, I mean, I use it all the time on New Vegas. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool. And apparently, obviously, people, like the number of players playing the Fallout games has upped dramatically since the TV show's come out. Surprise, surprise.
Shocking.
Yeah, but no, it's given me a good excuse to go back to Vegas. As I say, the TV show is fucking amazing, and I really recommend you guys check it out. So I'm going to give my vocal cords a rest, and I'm going to let Nick get some words in.
Oh, I haven't even got my bloody games up I've played. Hang on.
Stop playing games and...
I'm not playing games.
I could hear your controller a little while ago.
I can't help it if the Xbox controller's clicky. Alright, we'll start with a nice easy one, which, Shenmue. I talked about it earlier. I've been playing that again because people keep redeeming for me to play that on my stream.
Annual Shenmue stream.
Pretty much. That's be twice a year at some point. But there's still
Do you have like a speedrun record for it or anything like that? Or
no, I don't bother. I mean, thing is though, Shenmue 1 is actually, even though you wouldn't think it, it's longer than Shenmue 2 if you do a speedrun.
All right.
Because there's, like with Shenmue one, there's a lot of things where you have to wait for the next day to continue the story. Like where you're at the end and you're doing the forklift truck stuff and, you're going to work. It's like, oh, so I've got to wait until tomorrow. Oh, and you can't go home to sleep until like after 9 p.m. at night. So you have to waste like 4 hours of game time. I think that's 15 minutes an hour. Wow. So you have to do that. So there are people I watch that do speedrun it. And when they get to that part, they've got another game that they want to play. And they just stick that on in the background and start playing that whilst they're waiting.
Right.
Yeah, because I think like the speedrun for Shenmue 1 is like 5.5 hours, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Whereas the speedrun for Shenmue 2 is like just under 2. And I'm like, wow. But every time I play it, 2 always takes a lot longer.
Yeah, because it feels longer, because obviously you're travelling around a couple of locations, aren't you? It's
plus there's really more locations and more discs, but there's a lot more weird bits in it, in that one where, like, if you die, it's better now on the newer consoles because they put a save everywhere feature. Whereas on the original, you could only save in your bedroom, in your house. So if you did something and got to the end of the day and, like, died or something, and it, like, reload a save, you just go back to the morning or the last time you saved. So I said to you, like, this one's a bit iffy, like, with the auto-resume, so that's why it's good that you can save everywhere. But yeah, I played that, and a few people come to my chat. I was like, oh, the Shenmue guys are here. And that always seems to get a decent sort of 10 to 15 people who come in and watch because it's got like sort of a cult following. And they're all, oh, do you know this? I was like, I know everything, but go on. But most of it I know. And they're like, oh, if you do this and you do that. I mean, I even found out something new today that, like, where you have to like phone people in the game, yeah, Webby?
Yeah.
You don't actually have to put the area codes in.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, is that like for the new version or the old versions? But that's pretty cool. And a few bits like that. And then like, there's someone in the chat and she was like, what's up with, what is that phone? Why is there a phone on the side of the road? I was like, it's a payphone. So why have they ever had, I was like, and she's like 17, 18. So she's never really seen phones, and like
that makes me feel so old.
and not just that, to see the old like spinning.
Have you seen phone cards before? And that,
yeah, but like obviously to see like a phone, where you actually have to push your finger on the button and like twist it round and stuff like that. I've never even seen one of those before, and you're like, oh, it's just like weird having some technology we've got so advanced, and then another technology we've like gone backwards at some of it.
And people still don't even know how to use phones properly even now. Walking around with the phone on fucking loudspeaker, talking to it like it's a Star Trek communicator.
Oh fuck!
I just want to slap people when I see that. It's just like,
I'm not joking. Recently, I've looked today at Sainsbury's. That has really been pissing me off because they've got it on speakerphone as loud as it'll go. And they're screaming at the phones, and it tends to be old people, not knocking them. And I'm like, oh, why don't you shut the fuck up? Just,
it's really obnoxious.
Ads and fuck off,
Yeah.
But
it's like you just feel like going up to people and go, see this little bit here? That's where you put your ear, and you can hear them. Yeah. And then this little speaker bit down at the bottom here, it'll pick up what you're saying, and you can have private conversations with people, and we don't have to listen to any of it.
Yeah,
it's really.
I know you're talking. They can hear you without the phone. But I don't know. We are really moaning at the moment.
Sorry,
really.
That's just funny.
That's just a little bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
New tech that people don't know how to use.
We really are with video games. We're like our parents when they were talking about music, saying to us, all that music shit, back in my day, we had real music, didn't have none of this DLC shit.
And we got to that point real quick, actually, when it comes to modern music with us, like our age.
Oh, just talking about that, just going back to the old physical discussion, I forgot to mention, it was in my brain and so just come back, was been doing a loft clear out this week. And my missus has got loads of CDs and vinyls and shit. So we got them all down and was like, oh, we need a fucking stereo again. Like one of those, like those old stack systems with the tapes.
Oh, they were awesome. Yeah.
And I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace and eBay and that. Fucking hell. They are well expensive. Yeah. I can't believe it because I don't make them anymore. So, and it's just obviously it seems
and the
to be
old stuff was built to last, and like obviously getting hold of like really good amps and things like that. Yeah, people hoard them. I mean, there's big money in obviously using them because digital music isn't generally as good. They've gotten to the point now, but obviously when MP3s first came out, there was a reason why your music CD back in the day only had a certain amount of songs on it.
Yeah.
Because the songs were huge if they were to take up that space on a disc. You're talking like 30, 40 meg a song.
Yeah.
And you're condensing that down into like a 3.5 megabyte audio file. Yeah, you're going to lose stuff.
Yeah.
And now you get like lossy audio, which is kind of supposed to be sort of like an uncompacted sort of version of it, which is still compacted down from obviously what it would be on a standard CD and stuff. But
yeah. So I just wanted to say, like, because obviously we're we like our physical stuff. So we got out the loft and that, and I'm the same with games. I've still got a fucking fuckload of 360 games in the loft and shit, but I was thinking, yeah, the quality, like, because we've got the Spotify, but the free version, because I don't pay for that shit. I'm just like, oh, when you listen to a vinyl or a CD, like, it just sounds better.
It's just richer.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh, we don't have a fucking stereo
especially with
anymore.
vinyl.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing to do is check around, like, some of your local second-hand places, not necessarily online, because they don't necessarily know everything.
Yeah.
Even, like, some of the charity shops, like your Red Cross and all that kind of stuff, you'd be surprised what gets donated to places like that.
Yeah.
And, check in there, or, like, some of the repair places.
Yeah.
I mean, vinyl's made a bit of a comeback in recent years anyway, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think for the last 2 or 3 years, vinyl's actually outsold CD in America.
That's mad, isn't it?
Well, just people aren't buying CDs. So it's, like I said, there's people out there now that, I mean, it's out now. Can anyone remember last time you bought a CD?
I can, yeah.
No, mate.
Oh. I buy, I actually got is it a CD or is it a Blu-ray? I think it's classed as mainly as a Blu-ray, but
I want a music CD, like an album or something. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, it is an album, but it comes on a Blu-ray.
Oh.
It's like, it was the new soundtrack for Final Fantasy that had just come out. But I mean, the cool thing is when you put those on, all of the Final Fantasy soundtracks come on Blu-rays because they're like, some of them are like over 100 tracks. But when you actually play them on your television, it plays video footage and stuff in the background of like the tracks and the area where it's from and stuff. And I noticed on this new one, they've actually got concert footage of a couple of performances from the fan festivals.
That's quite cool.
Okay, can you remember when you last bought a generic music album?
I got my brother to pick me up one when he came over last year from Japan, because obviously they still sell CDs over there, but not actual like a music artist. It was like soundtracks and stuff like that.
So you're not big on the latest, like Katy Perry or something?
No. If I do buy music, it's usually foreign artists. Like, there's not really a lot of Western music I actually enjoy or like anymore that actually comes out on CD. And if it doesn't, I'll just stick it on my phone through the internet or something.
Cool. Anyway, sorry I hijacked that. I just wanted to mention that.
So I was talking about Shenmue, lovely game. Goes on sale for like £3 for 1 and 2 HD. 3, I enjoy it, but it's a bit, after 18 years of waiting, it's not the best, and
it's still good.
I think a lot of people were You know, if you wait nearly 20 years for something, you're expecting like the greatest game ever, and it wasn't. It was good. It was okay. Good music.
Well, you were expecting the game to finish.
Well, yeah, it was what I wasn't, because he said it wasn't. But and considering we're now, 5 years almost from that, 2019. So that was November 2019 it came out. So I personally think he should have just rushed it and finished it, because he got a chance after 20 years. But you know what these sort of people are like, they're not going to do it, are they? But I don't know. It's still, it's fun, and there's not. I mean, what was it? Someone came into my chat and they were saying, "Oh, you're playing Yakuza Light," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm going to kill you." Calling it Yakuza Light, you know. You wouldn't have Yakuza if it wasn't for Shenmue.
Like some youngster pointing at something and be like, "Oh, that's that character from Fortnite." You're like, "Oh no."
Oh god.
Oh.
Anyway, Darren, enlighten us.
Oh yeah, I haven't really played a great deal, to be honest, this week. I did play through though the Final Fantasy 16 crossover event for Final Fantasy 14.
Nice.
And it was done in quite a reasonable, respectful way, I will say. Nice. You get really good rewards off it. You obviously get Clive's outfit, Torgal as a mount, and Torgal as a little minion as well.
Nice.
And it did. I was sort of sitting there and I was sort of thinking, oh, they're not really going into the story much, are they? And I thought, oh, they can't. Because obviously the game so far has only come out on one platform. So there's probably a lot of people on the PC that obviously don't want the story spoiled. Yeah. I mean, there is a slight part of the story spoil in the quest.
Right, oh, okay.
Basically, it's the classic, like, oh, I've woken up in a different world, I don't know who I am, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then through figuring stuff out, and obviously because the primals are across, like, pretty much all of the different Final Fantasies, the memories get triggered and come back.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was pretty good. Can't really say too much else about it, really.
Okay.
They've released the benchmark, if you're interested, as well, apparently, for the PC.
Nah, I'm not interested.
So you can have a look at it with all the new textures and other bits and bobs that are supposedly coming.
No, I'll just wait for it. I mean, I cancelled my sub again because it runs out, I think, today, actually.
All right, you want try and get on there and do that mission before it runs out, because it's only available. For? It runs out, I think, 2 weeks through next month.
Okay. Yeah, I just.
And then you'll obviously have to pay for them. Okay. You'll have to pay for them off the shop probably after that point.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Okay. Back to you then.
Yeah, so we're talking about Ubisoft earlier on in the show. So I've played 2 games from Ubisoft this week. What's surprising? So obviously the backwards compatibility on the series works well. So been playing GRAW 2, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2.
Is this still highly populated?
I wouldn't say highly populated, but I got into a server with people. Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
And you think how old this game is? It is fucking well old, but...
Is it like 15 years old or something?
I can't actually remember when it came out. I'm just going to have a look. But 2007, March 2007. Oh my God.
Yeah, so wow. Just over 15 years.
And so I was doing a little bit of reading online, and apparently the Xbox 360 version was actually the best version. It was better than even the PC version.
Oh, right. Was any particular reason behind that? Because of the death chat or something?
I was just reading that funnily enough, the graphics were better, and like it was a slightly different game on PC compared to the console as well.
Yeah, because obviously going back to that point is like what I said when it was still in the realm where games consoles were their own beast and they weren't just copying PCs, because obviously a lot of games that were done for the consoles they were superior on the console rather than on the PC.
Yeah.
It's only 2 years after the 360 came out, wasn't it, 2007? So usually it took, 2-3 years for PCs to, have better graphics than consoles?
Well, back then, it took a bit of time.
Whereas now, consoles release and PCs are already better than them.
Yeah. But, no, it was good because I played for a good few hours, did some game chatted to the people in there. It was good fun, actually, and it was still, for a game that is so old, it's the gameplay itself holds up really well. I mean, obviously the graphics look dated, but still passable. But there's just nothing else made like it's you could switch, but you have a little camera in the top left of the screen. You can switch between all the different players on your team and see where they are, or you could or there's a UAV up in the sky. You could tell it where to go, and you could see down on the ground. In that little camera. That's not been done in any other game since, as far as I can tell. And it's just fun. You know what I mean? Third-person shooter, you could choose between aiming in first or third-person mode. You can switch between your shoulders very easily.
You could go completely prone and arc your body around corners and stuff as well, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You even had that silly little camera gun, do you remember? Where you could lay down and stick your hands up and
Yeah. Mm. And it just goes to show that, this game is still being played now. It is that old. It just shows to the quality of the game. And this is why I'm so upset about Ubisoft now, where they were and where they are now. They're like two completely different companies now. And it just makes me sad because that's one of the best games of all time, in my opinion, especially for online.
Well, I think the main thing is now is back then people just wanted to deliver a good product and obviously do worthwhile additional content. I mean, from what I remember back in the early 360 era, the original GRAW and GRAW 2 had some of the best DLC ever. It was really well priced, and it added a shit ton of maps and stuff to the game.
Yeah, I think GRAW 2 has over 50 online maps, which is redonk.
Yeah, because they slowly re-released all of the original GRAW maps, didn't they, into the game as well?
Yeah.
For something like £8 or £9.
Yeah, it was really.
So it wasn't even egregious. Yeah. Whereas now, you propose a game to a company and they're like, "Oh, how can we monetize that?
Yeah.
How can we keep people coming back time and time again and spending more money?"
And this is why I found myself, not just reminiscing about the good old days of gaming, because it really makes me sound like an old man, but just actually going back and playing some of these older games. So obviously been playing GRAW 2. I'm going to leave the other one to Darren to talk about because I've seen him online playing it this week. But also, not as old, but another Ubisoft game is The Division 2.
Oh, I literally just stuck it on to see what was up with my internet connection because I was having internet issues, and I thought I'll put on Division 2 because obviously that runs on servers to see if I was having issues on that, and I was. So I realised it was my console, and I had to hard reset it and fondle the network settings a bit.
Yeah, so the Division 2 is a great game. So obviously when it came out, I bought it on the PC, put over 100 hours into it, absolutely rinsed it, and then it was on a deep sale about a year or so ago on Xbox, and Peebs really wanted to play it. And I said, look, I'll buy it on Xbox, and I'm happy to go through it again, I said to him. And so I played through it with him and Pudster. I believe you know Pudster, Darren.
Yeah.
So we went through it about a year or so ago. And then I was like, I really fancy playing that again. Just because I was just in the mood, right? And I reinstalled it on my Xbox. and I was in the middle of the DLC, the Warlords DLC in New York.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can't leave New York until I finish this DLC.
Yep.
So I was like, right, let's fucking go on it. So I messaged Pudstar, funnily enough, and he was like, right, I'm jumping on. So me and Pudstar have been playing the Division 2 this week, and he helped me get through the DLC, and I've really enjoyed it. Like, that game holds up, like, graphically. But I played it on my S and my X this week, and it
still looks lovely.
It looks amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Ubisoft, I will say, like, in general, Ubisoft games have always been one of those titles from, like, back in the day, released with polish.
Yeah.
Like, you even, like, load up Origins, it still holds up now. And that's, like, a game that was out, like, what, 6-7 years ago now? Maybe more?
Yeah. So I've really enjoyed playing through that DLC and then finished that and did, they have their weekly, they have their weekly things or seasonal things, which you can go through, and just not rinsing, just going through some of that a little bit. And it's just a fun title. I really wish they'd added more story DLC to that, because that's what I really get my teeth into in those type of games. But it's really good still. Like, it looks amazing. The gameplay's fun. And I know I messaged you, Darren, and you said you've not even played that DLC yet, which I was really
No, because I knew you were locked into it once you went in, and I was just like, oh, no. And then obviously other stuff came out, and I hadn't even reached World Tier 5, and you need to reach World Tier 5 before you get to the Warlords.
Right.
And it basically, it allows you to skip ahead, but it basically does also give you a notification of, if you skip ahead, you will miss out on relevant story-based stuff and the relevant achievements for that set part of the game that you're skipping.
Okay. So yeah, great game, and it moves on to a little bit of my news as well, since we're talking about it. Some details. I think did I mention this last week about the Division 3 leaks?
What, possibly? I mean, there was that, supposedly they were going to do like a standalone, like, Dark Zone version of the Division that was like a free-to-play sort of PvP type thing.
Yeah, it's not happening. Yeah, so apparently the new one's going to be set in Chicago, but there's no release date or anything like that. So it's basically just the locations being revealed. So we shall see. But I'm hoping it's not shit. I'm hoping it's decent, because I really enjoyed the Division 2. I did prefer the location of the first game, though. It had that Christmassy vibe to it.
Yeah. I mean, they both had their own good vibes in their own way.
Yeah.
But I did prefer the one from the original.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. Get back to Nick, I guess.
Yeah, so I've still been playing, not doing much in it, but Forza Motorsport 7.
7?
Yeah, the old ones. I can't be buying the new ones.
They fucking delisted that as well, didn't they? So you're lucky you can play it.
Yeah, well, I got it on
disc. Was it 7 or 6?
7.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it's something to do with Porsche.
It was a licensing issue,
I think it's Porsche who are known to be one of the... they're horrible little jumped-up beetle anyway, But yeah, so I've still been plugging along with that. The only thing that's annoying me a bit is I'll think, I'll do the career mode, or whatever, story mode, whatever you call with the cars. And it's not the best, because it's just a list of loads of different races you can do, and you have to do so many on each bit to unlock the next sort of selection. You just pick off a board. But they want you to, like, pick all the cars and all the different stuff. And I can't really get any more, because all the races that are left I don't want to do. I like want you to race like a great big, like lorry and things like that, and like big like 4x4s or old like 100-year-old F1 cars and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't really want to race those types of things, you know. Which I always thought in Horizon, you could kind of pick what you wanted, couldn't you? And once you'd finished whatever selection you've unlocked, it would unlock another load of them. So I might go back and start playing some more Forza Horizon 4 as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a good one,
yeah. Yeah, that's one in England. So I've sort of been playing, like, I was playing that for a little while, then I've gone on to 7, but so at the moment I'm just doing on quick race and just racing stuff and just floating around doing stuff like that, because, I don't know, like I said, I just fancy a bit of driving. Like I said last week, I was going to get Gran Turismo 7, and that did do that as well, where it was reduced to 35 quid, but there was only like 2 in stock, and it was out of stock in like Smith's, Amazon, Argos, and all those places. It was out of stock at 35 quid. But guess what happened when it went back up to full price 60 quid?
Oh, let me guess.
15 in stock.
Yeah.
So I'm like, typical.
Yeah.
But here's what it is. But I don't know, I like this one.
Again.
But yeah, I just think, I mean, because what have they've called the new Forza just Forza, isn't it? Forza Motorsport. It's not 8, is it?
Yeah.
It's just weird how you're up to basically Forza 8, and then you bang in all the Horizon games, so you're probably up to what, 15, maybe 16. So we've got 8 of these and 5 Horizon games. So yeah, so what's that, 13?
There's been a lot, mate.
Yeah, and then we've only got like 7 Gran Turismos. Or have we had? Did we have one spin-off of that?
No, you've had Sport, and then you had another little one that was kind of either known as
like a 20 quid
Turismo
one.
Alpha or Gran Turismo Beta or something weird, wasn't there?
Wasn't that like a glorified demo as well?
It was on the PS3, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they had
Late
one on PS4.
PS3.
I think it was Gran Turismo Sport, which was like not a budget title, but like in between full price and cheap. So it's like a AA game or whatever they call it. But I don't know. I'm still enjoying it. It plays okay. I see no reason to buy the newest one over that, really. Probably because I didn't play this one that much either.
Yeah. Well, I did play some Motorsport on Sunday after the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's still got issues, unfortunately. There was 5 of us. Yeah. And every race we had, one person got booted from the game on the start line. And it was a different person each time. Yeah, so it's still got those activity issues. Xbox, we're all on Xbox, yeah.
Oh, so that's even a fucking console. Because normally the PC version is knackered for 3 months and then they fix it. But it seems like... I mean, I remember when I played that, because I still had Gamepass, I must have tried, I don't know, played it for 3 or 4 hours altogether, and even then I got booted loads.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I even recall GRAW, a game we all love. The amount of times we used to play that online, and you'd have like a full lobby of people, and you'd load into a game, and you'd just see like so-and-so has dropped, so-and-so has disconnected, and you just have people next to you just going, and falling over. You're like, oh no, we've just lost a load of people. Back out, quit out, retry.
Yeah, but that wasn't, that was running off someone's console. There, back in those days, there was no dedicated servers.
Oh, true, yeah. So
yeah, it's just peer-to-peer. When it was someone the host or something.
Yeah, there was always, someone was the host. So, you'd get the person with the best internet connection to host. That's how we used to play. Wolfenstein on the OG Xbox. I remember I used to play that with some guys in, where were they? The Netherlands, I think. And they were well ahead of us with broadband speed back then. I mean, I was running on like 500 meg broadband, which was like amazing at the time. And they were running, like 5 meg or something, Yeah, so I was running on half a meg. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they were running on like, say 10 meg or something like that. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I mean? So they would host the games, because if I hosted it, I could host only about 4 people. Madness. How things have changed.
Hey. So is it back to me, is it?
Yes, mate.
Skyrim, not really going to talk much about it. It's Skyrim.
Gotta get down to Skyrim.
I finished Remnant 2 on the hardest difficulty today, this afternoon with my friend.
That's quite an achievement.
Is that like Dark Souls with guns?
Sort of, yes.
Nice.
But it's got some like incredible builds and ways you can play the game, which obviously helps its popularity a lot.
Yeah, that's
good.
It's one of the best co-op games that's come out in the last few years, I think.
And obviously now it was, I think it was an Xbox player who was with us.
Nice.
Joined us for the last sort of like boss and a bit.
That's right. It's got crossplay now as well, hasn't it? It didn't have it before.
Yeah. And it just so happens that the next DLC is coming out for it on, I think, like middle of next week.
I might have to reinstall it on my PC and we can do some crossplay.
Because the DLCs are pretty decent. Usually, I think with the last one they added a new class and a load of new weapons and areas. So hopefully we get much of the same. This one's going to be on the Asia, which is like the forest biome that you go into.
Nice.
Whereas the last one was Yharnam, which was kind of like the Bloodborne-esque kind of part. I do love the different ways of the world you go to. It would just be nice, I think, for a change to just get a brand new world rather than like the DLC reusing places we've kind of already seen per se.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, good game that. Cool.
Can be frustrating, but a lot of games can be frustrating, but there is a nice bit of reward to it, and it just feels so good to play.
Well, I'm glad they've added the crossplay now, because that was you go back. I think that's a very recent addition, because
last couple of months, yeah.
Because when I was playing it was really annoying, because quite a lot of the people I know picked up on PlayStation. Obviously, couldn't play with them, or couldn't play with the PC players or anything either on Steam or anything. So no, it's good. It's good.
It's you again then, mate, really.
Yeah, so not really played a lot of these games, but a little. I did check out this game that I bought ages ago on Xbox, and I never played it. It's called Adam's Venture. And it's basically trying to be like the Uncharted games. But think of Uncharted with really shit graphics and a really shit story.
Oh, hang on a minute. I seem to remember there being like a completely terrible sort of like Uncharted rip-off that came out. I think it might have been even on the 360.
I think this was a 360 game, yeah.
Or something, and it was like, whether it's the same one, I don't know. It might well be.
Yeah, it's called Adam's Venture Origins. I think I picked it up ages ago for like £1. I was like, oh, I'll fucking pick this up. So it's got like it's off in this like manor house thing, and you got to solve puzzles, and then it gets a bit weird. But there's no fighting or anything in it from what I've played so far. But it's still like solving puzzles, being sneaky. But it is really janky, like super janky, and with really bad voice acting. Don't pick it up. But yeah, I just had to check it out because it was so cheap, and it's in my games list. You know what I mean? On my console, so it's like, right, fucking might as well play it. So there's that. I just wanted to give it a shout out, and I did start a new game hit Gamepass this week. Well, a new old game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
What was that, the last one that came out?
I think it was, yeah. I mean, I remember playing it when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. So I've been replaying it on Game Pass for the Chivos, and I'm really enjoying it. It's, you know, graphically it looks nice. It has a really good story. Lara's a nice ass. There's nothing much. There's nothing to really hate about this, to be honest. Just a very much a you know, a Tomb Raider-y game with a good story and the baddies and all that sort of stuff. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I'd say it was probably the worst of the three.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm enjoying it.
It went through the usual formulaic sort of stuff to keep you interested, but
yeah,
and gave you that mechanic where you can kind of cover yourself in mud.
Yeah, that's it, and you can hide in, you know, in the shrubbery in the walls and all that sort of stuff, and do sneak attacks and that. Yeah, but yeah, it's quite fun. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, because I've been in one of those moves. Like, I've got these RPGs I want to play on Game Pass, like Persona 3 Reload as an example, but I'm just not in the mood at the minute to play a long ass RPG again. Because
especially when you've got one round the corner.
Which one?
Eden Chronicle 100 Heroes.
Oh, that's out in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And obviously, just coming off the back of Rebirth, I'm just like, I just want to play some games that are just easy. I don't have to think about. That's why I've been playing racing games still, which I'm not going to bore people about again. But just these shorter games. Yeah, back to Nick.
Yeah, so I've only got 2 more games to talk about. Next one, which was kind of shit, which was AEW Fight Forever.
Oh, I've seen this on the store. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a wrestling game, but then I watch it on TV, and that's the one I went to last year at Wembley.
Yeah.
So I went and saw it. So I thought, oh, it was cheap. Just before Christmas, I think I paid like 20 quid. I thought, yep, I'll pay 20 quid for it, and it's not that good.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I mean, the graphics are questionable. Like, some of the wrestlers you think, oh yeah, that looks like him, and some of them you're like, what the fuck happened there? It's like they forgot to finish them off, and they just look like plasticine characters. And the weird thing is, some of the crowd, the characters in the crowd look better than the wrestlers.
Oh my god,
with more detail and stuff like that. And I think this sort of got stuck in COVID development hell. It was supposed to come out almost 2 years before it did, and it came out in 2013. I mean, there's plenty of modes in there, like, you know, all the matches and stuff. I don't know if there's... I mean, I haven't played a WWE one for, years, probably since the PS2 came out. You know, the PS2 ones, like the Here Comes the Pain and all that, when wrestling was good and games were good. And it's just a weird thing. It's like you go in between... Like they say, the career mode or whatever they call it, and you pick a wrestler. And I thought, well, I'll pick CM Punk because it's funny because he's not in AEW anymore. He got fired from it. And half of them haven't got like any voice acting at all. Like when they come to the ring, you know, you always think, oh, you want to see them come to the ring and do their ring entrance. Half of them don't do that. It comes out with the music for about 5 seconds, and they just like wave at the camera.
Oh my god!
It's like,
They did that on the PS1 on the WWF games.
Yeah, they actually had the proper entrances. They don't have the proper entrances on this, and the actual wrestling is really basic. You've got like punch, kick, grab. That's about it, really. Like, you grab and then press up, down, left or right to do a different grab, which is a bit iffy. And, I mean, I thought I'd read in the instructions book, but obviously I haven't got one of those. I can't find the button to change between who you're attacking, if you know what I mean.
Oh, tap targeting, basically.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's actually in there. And like I say, some of the characters look good, some of them look rubbish. And like I say, the weird career mode thing, it's a fight. Like, you do the wrestling match for a year, And then in between, you can like go out to dinner, and it's just the same place, even though it says it's in somewhere different. And you just watch a little cutscene where it's just text, no voice acting. And it's like, oh, pick somewhere to eat. Oh, this is this certain place. You're in Chicago. They're known for their deep pan pizza. So you're going to Chicago's best pizzas. I'm like, is there really a place called Chicago's best pizzas? But
well, probably not. That. Otherwise, they'd have to pay them royalties. Yeah.
And then you say, oh, go to the gym. But what level of gym do you want to go to? Like 1, 2, or 3, and this will use this much energy, but then you'll get more. I'm like, seems kind of weird. I thought, I know what you'll do. You'll go to the gym and you'll have like a mini game like you used to. Remember like the Rocky boxing games where you could like do all the moves like the punch and bag, the speedball. No, there's none of that. You just see him lift a dumbbell up for like 10 seconds and then it goes like... It's almost like one of these, mobile games with all the stats and all the points adding up and stuff like that. It's kind of like that. And... it's got the commentary, and they've got JR. Can you remember him, Webby?
Yeah.
Good old JR.
Yeah.
I don't know why he sounds like he's already dead in this. He just sounds so bored and like putting no effort into it at all. It's gone back to the 90s voice acting in this, and I'm like, oh, you got JR in it, great. Oh, welcome to AEW Wrestling. I'm like, really? He sounds so bored, and he must have filmed all this in like 10 minutes.
They probably just said to him, "Here, do you mind if we just AI your voice in?
Yeah,
just sign us the rights."
I always get that thought, in that Simpsons where Krusty goes to do the voice acting for the Krusty dolls, and he just walks in and says the cards in 10 seconds and walks off. And then the guy goes, okay, Krusty, we're ready for you now. I just think that's what must have happened.
Yeah.
So I've played it as a few of the wrestlers, and some of them they just look so weird. And it just does that thing where, I mean, this is like 90s, right? Like even the PS2 had better. Like you'd go to the top rope and you try to do that jump, and you're like, oh, well, you won't reach him from here. And he does that weird Superman flying zoom thing to land on him. Where I'm like, this isn't very good. I mean, I'm only paid 20 quid for it, so it was a laugh. But yeah, I think they're talking about. Plus, there's obviously, even though it's been out since I want to say June last year, July, it's had 3 separate season passes to get stuff. Plus, loads of different bonuses. Oh, you want to buy these wrestlers, that's a £5. You want to buy these wrestlers, that's a £10. And they're not in the season pass. And you're like, when I say season pass, it's not like Fortnite that you can grind to get your season pass. No, you just got to buy it. It's like a character pass rather than the season. And I'm like, ugh. So I played that for maybe an hour or 2 on stream, and about another hour off stream, and I've put it on the shelf. I'm like, this is not fun.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because like I said, you can't. I mean, I'll probably ain't get it a good enough chance, but I'll just, if the gameplay's not as much fun, as a game that came out in 2002, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? I'd rather just put Here Comes the Pain on a PS2 game and play that.
Yeah.
But
don't blame you, mate.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a birthday present, Christmas present. Sorry, so. All fun.
Cool. Back to you then, Darren.
The 2 games, was it?
That was his last. Yep. Well, we'll save his last one for.
Yeah, I've got one more game to talk about.
All right. Well, I haven't got anything really to talk about or worthy talking about. That's not just a login or a daily, weekly sort of thing.
Well, I've only played 2 games as well. I'm going to rip through these, Nick. So,
go on then.
We'll go back to you after this. So, me and my boy have been playing. I mean, we do our weekly Worms games, but we've been playing Trials Fusion, and that's quite an old game, but been playing some of that, and he's getting the hang of it. It's teaching him a little bit more coordination on the old thumbstick, because you know it's like you've got to lean left and right and all that jazz, right?
Is that the motorbike one?
Yeah.
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 Oh, that was good.
Yeah, it's a good game. So yeah, we've been playing that, which has been really fun. And the last game we've been playing, I only launched it today, just hit Gamepass the other day, is a little puzzle game called Botany Manor. And it is what it says on the tin. It's a puzzle game where you have to grow flowers from seeds. But you explore this manor and the gardens, etc., and have to solve quite tough puzzles. I'm actually stuck at the minute trying to figure it out. So basically, the flowers will only bloom in certain ways, you know, like they have to be in a certain temperature or a certain amount of light, all this sort of stuff. And there's clues dotted around on how to do these things. It's just figuring it out. But it's quite a chill game because it's just exploring. It's got quite a nice art style to it. So yeah, just put a couple of hours into that this afternoon. And yeah, it's quite good. So if you've got Game Pass, it's a little puzzle game to check out. Botany Manor. That's what I have to really say about it, to be honest. And that's all my games played. So straight back to Nick again. Wowzers.
Yeah, so a game I've been playing today, I think I've probably put about 5 hours into it today, which is mental for me to play a game for that long in like one day. It's an old game, obviously. It's Xbox One, PS3, PS4 game. I'm pretty sure you played it, Webby. So
yeah.
Mad Max.
Oh, I've played some of it, yeah.
Well, funnily enough, I haven't. I have it on the Xbox. I remember when I used to game share with Kirk back in the day, he bought it. I never played it. We stopped game sharing, but it's on Game Pass now. So I still have it available to play, but I just never got round to it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's one of these old 360 fun games where they just haven't like stripped loads of stuff out. It's basically Grand Theft Auto in the desert.
Right, okay.
Pretty much. And it's a little bit old sort of Ubisoft thing, you know, you've got like fortresses and stuff that you don't have, I don't think you have to do them, because I don't think you do. I've been doing it because obviously I'm streaming it, so I'm doing like the main missions on stream, and I'm doing some of the side missions and like the loot and off stream to just level up, because you have to like level up the car and Max, like his abilities, like his fighting abilities and stuff. I mean, I'll say the start, I mean, I don't know the rest of the game, but the start and what I've seen is bloody brutal. Some of like the cutscenes and the violence and the blood and gore. So basically, you start off your Mad Max, you're in your car, just going about a drive as you do, and basically one of the bosses turns up in like his huge car, and I don't know. This came out the same year as the movie Fury Road, and there's a lot of similarity. So I don't know if this came out like the end of the year and that movie came out the beginning, because they do seem to have a lot of like inspiration, like the enemy types, how they look, and sort of like the feel of the game. But like you start off like the first cutscene, you're driving, this guy attacks you, and you jump up and think, oh, that's some of you, and you try to beat him up, and this guy's like 9 foot tall monster, and he tries to beat the shit out of you with a chainsaw. So you get the chainsaw off him and cut his head in half, and for some reason that just irritates him and he throws you off the car, so it doesn't bother him having a chainsaw in his head. I'm like, that's weird. And basically a lot of the guys just get like decapitated, blood everywhere and stuff like that. And like video game wise, they beat you up, nick your car, crush it like for parts, leave you for dead in the middle of the desert, and then you wake up, and that's just you and a dog, because his pet dog, because the pet dog didn't kill you, he like broke the dog's leg and threw it off the car.
Right.
And I was like, oh, now I want him to die. If you're going to do animal cruelty, you know, that's, you know, can't be doing that. So the dog's your pet now, even though he doesn't, I think I don't know if he'll be your friend later, but he's back at base camp because he's got a bad leg. So I've had to like wait for him to heal. But there's a character that helps you like build a new car. And I got to get it right. His name is Chum Bucket.
Lovely.
Something like that. Isn't he in the back of your car?
Yeah, and he's basically Gollum from Lord of the Rings. He's like a hunchback weird guy. And obviously, because his name is Chumbucket, and I keep calling him Cumbucket, because I misread it, and I'm like, yeah. So, and I'm on stream, so yep, his name's Cumbucket from now on. Brilliant. So yes, basically you have to help him out, do loads of little side missions, like get your car, upgrade your car. And this is all like the first like half an hour really, and you do like the first area, and then the guys basically attack your base and set it on fire, so you have to drive off to the next area, and that's pretty much as far as I've gotten. But I've been doing a lot of the side missions. You know, you got like fortresses and stuff, little areas that you can like loot areas, and these weird like scarecrow towers that you have to pull down or smash through. Because basically your car, you've got a harpoon gun built in, so you can shoot the harpoon gun at these towers and like drive off to pull the towers down.
You can fire it into the enemy vehicles as well.
Yeah, and something else I found out today, you can sometimes fire it at the car and it pulls the door off, and then if you fire it again after that and the door's off, you pull the bloke out as well, and sometimes through the windscreen if you're close enough, and you just drive off with him like dangling behind you until he like smashes himself to death. Right. Which is obviously fun, you know, and doing stuff like that. But yeah, it's just really good game, and I think I've spent maybe an hour and a half on like the main stuff, and probably another 3 hours just going off doing side missions. Mainly because I think if I upgrade my car and my characters, it might make the main mission slightly easier. Because as far as I'm aware, there's no difficulty setting. Or no, there is, and I've got it on easy, obviously. But the fighting in it is bloody hard, though, Webby.
Okay.
Like if you're not careful, you could get like wiped out by like 3 or 4 enemies, because it does and it don't. So if you're attacking another enemy, the other guys aren't just going to stand there and watch like they do in a lot of games. They'll come after, they'll attack you, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time. So you've got to be ready to press like counter, which is Y. But you got, because you press like X to punch, hold X to like hard punch, things like that. And but you've got to be careful, because if you're in the middle of a combo and someone's attacking you, if you don't press Y quick enough, he'll hit you, break everything, and basically 2 or 3 hits can kill you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there is a gun in it, but bullets are like really scarce. Like you've got a shotgun, and so far I can only hold like 3 shotgun bullets at once. So I don't know if you can upgrade your ammo later, which I'm looking like. I'm definitely not playing games while I'm on the podcast, because that would be unprofessional. But if I was, but it's like you have to do other requirements to get to that level to have more ammo.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So it's unlocked. It's like, oh, you're on level 8. You need to get to level 9 by doing all these missions and stuff like that. So it's like, you see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, he looks, and the Max, I mean, he basically looks like Joel from The Last of Us / Nathan Drake. He just looks generic man.
Yeah.
But cool, yeah, it's really fun, and this is always on sale for like £3. And if you say it's on Game Pass, it's definitely worth it.
I think it is. That's not 100%. It's definitely in my library.
Yeah, I think it was on Games with Gold as well.
Oh, okay.
At some point, because I mean, it's what, 9 years old.
It is old now, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't know if there's a setting somewhere, but it's got that sort of old school sort of like film grain over the game.
Yeah.
Like over the whole screen.
Yeah.
Like I sort of think, what was that really shitty motorbike game that came out years ago?
Oh, I don't know. There's been loads.
That weird like thing, but yeah, like the screen has that sort of like an old movie reel type thing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got that kind of thing. I mean, it's just sand and dust. I think they do it to like protect the draw distance and stuff like that. Because as far as when I looked at the map, the game looks huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, really enjoying that.
Cool,
Definitely worth £3. You should give it a go, Webby.
Yeah, I will do at some point, mate. Yeah, so there's only a couple of bits of news that I missed at the beginning of the show. So I've been seeing a lot of news stories the past week or two about the sales numbers for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Apparently, it's not sold as well as Remake. It's only, and I don't know if they're just going by physical copies in these. It's hard to discern the numbers, but apparently it's only sold 2 million copies. Whereas Remake sold way more than that in the same time frame. Now, I think Square are a little bit worried, but I think if they're not taking the digital numbers into account, I don't think that's that bad because, as I say, a lot of people just buy digital now. But I think the other thing that's going against it is obviously it's only on the PS5.
That still doesn't stop certain games from selling a shitload of copies anyway.
Yeah. I'm just a little bit perplexed as to why it's reportedly not sold as well as Remake, because Remake was great. This is fucking amazing. There's loads of Final Fantasy fans out there. What is going on? I don't get it.
It might just be down to the people that haven't played the original game and aren't going to get the sequel to another game, are they? And then you're obviously, your return customers, you are going to have probably lost a few people from the changes that you made just in general.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like, I gave it a go, it wasn't really for me.
Yeah. So, that's quite interesting.
The PS5's only been out, 3.5 years? Whereas in 2020, the PS3 had been out 7. So, and I think you'd had, close to 100 odd million PS4s by then. And obviously you've had COVID, so they didn't sell as many PS5s as you'd like. I mean, I don't know. Depending on who you listen to, the PS5 has sold anywhere from 30 million consoles to 100. It's really, they're not as open with how many they've sold compared to what they used. I don't think any of the companies are they?
Yeah, well, the thing, the original Final Fantasy Remake was on PS4 and 5, whereas this one's only on PS5, and there's probably still a lot of people that haven't upgraded to the PS5 from the PS4, to be fair.
I mean, I know a lot of people that are not, I said, you really big on games? Oh, I'm waiting for the last one to come out to get them all together. So I'm like, it's fair enough.
So, yeah, I just thought to throw that out there. And the other bit of news, my last piece, it's more of a rumour, really. Apparently EA are not going to be doing a Dead Space 2 remake because the remake for the first game didn't sell very well, apparently.
It was liked, though. I think a lot of people thought it was good. I mean, I played and I thought it was really good as a remake. But thing is, though, a lot of these companies, their expectations of what they're going to sell. I remember back years ago with Square Enix, and that year when they released a Tomb Raider, a Hitman, and they thought, we're going to sell Call of Duty sells 20 million copies a year. Well, we're going to sell 20 million copies of each because we've spent as much as they spent. And I think, no, that's not how it works. But that's, what did they expect it was going to sell? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they're spent, I mean, it's only a remake as well. So it's you wouldn't expect, the game was done, the story was done. They only had to reskin it, and I doubt they spent stupid money on it, did they? Well, you wouldn't think they would.
No. Don't know, mate. It's just, it's more of a rumour though at the minute. I think games companies are being more careful of what they put out now, and it's just, I mean, for us gamers, there's definitely less innovation now.
Yeah, well, that's why they're riddled with microtransactions, because they think if it doesn't sell well, at least the hardcore people that like it will just rinse them full of microtransactions.
Yeah. That's all my news. Wasn't there a bit of news that you mentioned before we hit record, Nick? I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to say about the there was a trailer come out this week for Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, I've not seen this actually.
It's the shooty one that kind of looked good, but
Is that being made by some of the people from Division and stuff, or is that another game?
I don't know, but it's another Ubisoft game, so obviously it's going to be crap. But yeah, it's caused the usual controversy because the main character in that. It's not nice to say that she looks ugly, but she looks fucking ugly.
Huh.
But it's not that she looks a little bit ugly. They've changed every proportion of a female you've ever seen in your life to make her look like a puppet from Thunderbirds, basically.
Oh, right.
Team America World Police. She looks like one of those characters, and she's got about 3 different hairstyles that don't fit on her head properly. Her face looked like it's been. I'll tell you what, she looks a bit like Michael Jackson the day he died.
Right.
But I think I'd rather go with Michael. That's, and I'm not knocking. It's just, they've obviously tried to tick boxes, and they've gone deliberately out of the way to make it look like that.
Right, okay.
And it's just, you think, it didn't look that bad in the trailer that came out last year. Right. So they've made it even. I mean, there's another 4 or 5 months before it come out, so possibly they will update it. But going on most Ubisoft games, they normally get a graphical downgrade, don't they?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. But a lot of people, they were getting humpy because, Angry Joe did a video on it, and he's basically getting this thing where he's saying it's not worth this. I mean, they've done the usual 70 quid for the game, 100 quid if you want to play it 3 days early with some skins, and 130 quid if you want that, and the season pass, and you're like, seriously? And he's saying, just buy Ubisoft for 1 month for $18 or however much it is in English. And he's saying to everyone when it comes out, he's going to put out videos and remind people to cancel it so they only pay 1 month.
Yeah.
And apparently Ubisoft are really mad at him and trying to get him blacklisted and flagging his videos and stuff.
Well, why? I mean, it's...
They just control everything, don't they?
I mean, I've done that. I've subscribed to Ubisoft Plus for 1 month just to rinse through, say, an Assassin's Creed or something.
Yeah.
Why not do it? It's available to do.
Yeah. Well, there are also rumours that they're going to, and I think they're going to stop it so you only get, you don't get the new games on there.
Oh, no one's going to fucking subscribe to them.
Well, exactly, but that's the thing. They want you to have a subscription service, but they also want you to buy all the brand new games, which is
what you're subscribing to.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They want both because a lot of these companies have been getting away with releasing broken games, waiting for them to get patched, selling you the Game of the Year edition, selling you the season passes and stuff like that, because they've been getting away with it for so long. That's what they want. And I was like, well, what is the point of anyone buying that Ubisoft thing if you don't get the new games on there?
Well, I want to tell you this now, right? So I've got the Ubisoft Connect app on my PC.
Huh?
And I forgot to mention this at the beginning, actually, when I was talking about the Division 2. So I installed the Division 2 on my PC before the Xbox, and it wouldn't launch. So I thought, I'll try and install another game I got, The Crew, because I've got The Crew 2 on there. That wouldn't launch. So I went online, and apparently they've done an update this week to the Ubisoft Connect launcher, and no one can launch any of their games. And I still don't know if it's fixed or not. I've no idea. But that's fucking
I imagine
shocking,
it would be.
it?
That sounds horrendous if that was the case.
But that app is really bad. It is so bad. I just don't understand how these companies can put out, they want to say these games, but they make you use really clunky and shit apps. It just makes no sense to me. Yeah. Ubi-shite, as Colin would say.
They're soon going to add that thing to Assassin's Creed, aren't they, as well?
What's that?
The launcher. They're going to be adding a launcher to the Assassin's Creed games. Generally for console. I believe it's coming at some point. They've talked about it for a while.
It's awful.
hub thing you connect through to play the stuff you already own and can just play whenever you want anyway.
Sounds fucking gash. But no, I mean, you know, I felt very down on gaming earlier on in the week, but I'm feeling quite, you know, I'm enjoying gaming more than I was a week ago because I've got over that bit of a mental hump. But I think a lot of that enjoyment is just coming from just playing some older games, as I said, like Fallout New Vegas, GRAW 2, The Division 2, when it works on the console, not PC. You know, I just feel like I'm getting, and I think it's just a mental thing at the minute. I'm just getting a lot more enjoyment just going back and playing some of those great older titles. Just finding that appreciation a little bit, you know. So, I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, this year has had good games, you know, like Yakuza, Like a Dragon was fucking amazing. Final Fantasy was amazing. I know Persona 3 is meant to be really good as well, but I just haven't had a chance to, or been in the right frame of mind to just dig into another long RPG. So there's definitely been good games. It's just, yeah, just enjoying those older easy ones at the minute. Quick play.
I just think the structure and the bones of the older games, even though they don't look as nice as like some of the newer ones, they just had more in them.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Just more for the fun and, you know, not for the fucking selling you all this other shite. Like being in a casino and putting your fucking coins in the slot machine.
Yeah. I mean, I did say that's what I felt like when I was playing that AEW and stuff. I felt like I was playing one of those mobile games where I had to keep like buying credits and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else, guys?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. Awesome. I think we'll end it here. 2 hours, finishing at a decent time, 9:30, just after 9:30. I'm going to go and watch the last episode of the Fallout TV show in a moment.
Wow. How many is there?
8.
Bloody, were they an hour each?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, it'll take me ages to watch all them.
Yeah. Well, me and the like this is saying, I haven't really been gaming in an evening because me and the missus has just been hammering the TV show. So, yeah, it's good. So anyway, it's been emotional. From me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PSN ID, Steam ID, Webby, 360G.
Nick Fights on Twitter and Twitch.
So thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/360Gamercast. Sign up today. You won't regret it. Apart from that, it's been emotional. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.